Today marks the 4th week in office for Donald Trump, and in those 4 short weeks, the madman sitting in the Oval Office has already threatened to annex or otherwise take over 4 separate foreign territories. 4 weeks, 4 areas that the President of the United States says he wants to annex into the United States. And they, of course, are the Panama Canal, Greenland, the Gaza Strip, and of course, Canada. And a lot of Donald Trump supporters out there say, well, this is all a negotiating tactic, or he's kidding, it's hyperbolic. He's not really going to do these things. They're lying to you. And I think they're lying to themselves. Here is Donald Trump from this past Thursday, once again, talking about the need to bring Canada into the United States as the 51st state. Take a look.
Going with Canada, there was obviously a delay in implementing those tariffs.
I spoke to Governor Trudeau on numerous occasions, and we'll see what happens. But it just sets up so good for them. Look, the people would pay much less tax than they're paying right now. They'd have perfect military protection. They don't have any military protection because and you take a look at what's going on out there. You have Russian ships, you have China ships, you have Chinese ships, you have a lot of ships out there, and people are in danger. This is a different world today. It's a different world. They need our protection, yes.
Now let me ask you, did it sound like he was kidding there? Did it sound like, oh, it's just hyperbole, he doesn't really want to do this? He continuously demeans Prime Minister Justin Trudeau by calling him Governor Trudeau. He's talking about bringing in a country of tens of millions of people and making it into just one state, which, by the way, this dumbass hadn't even thought for a second of what that would do to the Electoral College. It would absolutely dismantle it in a way that would forever bar Republicans from being able to win a presidential election. So maybe it's not a bad idea, right? I mean, if you think Canada is going to vote for these Republican idiots that annex their country, think again. So maybe Trump ought to consider that, even though he can't run again. Other Republicans can and will, and that is going to be a death sentence for the Republican Party. But more importantly, we are averaging 1 new country or territory per week that the mad tyrant in the White House is wanting to take over. And no, none of this is just him kidding around and joking. He literally said in that clip, like, they don't even have military. Oh, we got to do something. Canada has a military. Like, what the hell is he talking about? Oh, there's Russian ships and there's Chinese ships. There's other ships, he says, because he couldn't think of another thing to make up about these so-called threats to Canada. Right now, the biggest threat to Canada appears to be the United States. But here's what gets me, right? Anytime I talk about Donald Trump, which is daily because, it's my job to cover U.S. political news, we'll post the clips out there on Instagram. I get all kinds of comments from these angry Republicans who stumble upon it like, clearly you're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. Oh, there's a lot of Trump derangement syndrome in this country right now, but none of it's on the left. The Trump derangement syndrome we see in the United States today is all coming from his own cult members who are deranged enough to think that this man is actually doing a good job. You're so deranged that you don't even realize that this man is trying to engage in empire building illegally by basically threatening all of our allies across the globe. By putting U.S. financial interests at risk, by putting U.S. national security at risk, which is exactly, by the way, what Denmark has warned us we are doing with Greenland. In fact, they literally warned us about that 5 days ago. But Trump doesn't care. None of it matters to him. He wants to build a U.S. empire, and by God, he's going to do whatever he can to make that happen. Because apparently this man doesn't understand his history. Oh sure, empires have risen absolutely throughout human history. But that rise, every time, is followed by a humiliating fall that effectively cripples these former empires for generations. And that's exactly where the United States would be headed if Trump follows through with his very real threats that are definitely not jokes. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.